Hi guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Okay, today's episode is just going to be a catch-up because I haven't done a catch-up with you guys in a while, and plus it is super late. I am so sorry if you have the alert come on and it's in the middle of the night. I am totally sorry about that. But I wanted to go ahead and do this video today because I have exciting news. I have to give a big, huge shout out to Amelia. I am so excited to announce that she got and passed her CCA today. Yay! I am so happy for her. I am excited for everybody that sends in, that they pass their exam. But she has passed her CCA and she is going to take her CCS soon, or in the future. She's going to be taking it. She's working towards taking that one as well. I am very proud of her. I am so excited. And anytime you guys share this good news, of course, I've got to make the announcement and give you a shout out. So, congratulations, brand new coder. And I wish you the best on your journey. It is an adventure, but it is worth it. At least, in my opinion, it is worth it. It's totally worth it. So I'm going to go ahead and catch you guys up about what's been happening. I went and did my audits yesterday. Yes, I did them yesterday. So with the audits, I didn't really get hit on anything big, but my boss and I did go back and forth on this one, which I learned about parenterial, okay? If you are looking on your table of risk box, and I am going to do a follow-up to the E&M video that I had done before. I know it's been a couple of weeks since then. Just give me a chance to work on it. But the table of risk box, and I will post the link that I like. My facility has its own evaluation and management tool, but there is one on the Navitas website that is excellent. So I recommend that one. I will be posting it there. But when you look in the table of risk box, in the high risk category, there is one of the entries is parenterial drugs, okay? Parenterial, if you don't know, means that it is the patient takes this not orally, okay? This is given another way, and usually by injection, okay? That's what parenterial drugs means. So if you're thinking of drugs like Lovenox, okay, which is an anticoagulant, you have to give that's injectable. Rituximab was the drug that was in question on the record that I got audited on. And the argument was I had given the provider a level 5. She had everything there. The patient has very serious conditions. She was doing additional workup. She was working with their medications. And one of the medications that she was working with was rituximab. Rituximab is an injectable drug, okay? So again, this is very serious. And the way that I understood it is that it has to be monitored for toxicity, which is another component of a very serious drug. Whenever they have to be monitored for that, Coumadin and Lovenox, not Lovenox. There's another one I was thinking of. Lithium. Lithium is another one that has to be monitored for toxicity, but that's a pill. But anytime you have drugs that are monitored for toxicity, they're very serious, and it puts the table of risk, the medical decision making, into higher risk category, because when you are dealing with these very serious drugs, it can affect not only the condition that it is treating, right? But it can also affect other body organs. So again, that ups the level, okay? Every time there's something more serious and basically the patient's life is at a higher risk, the level is going to go up, okay? The evaluation and management level is going to go up. So in this particular scenario, I had everything worked out, and I had given it a level 5 because I thought that's what she deserved. My boss said no, that the way she had figured it out and she broke it down for me to see, she said this is a level 4. So I'm looking at this, and at first glance, I think, oh man, maybe I did mess this one up. But then I got to looking at it, I was like, no, this is a very serious drug. So I started breaking down what I was looking at. And I said, okay, how can I argue this? Again, I should have been a lawyer. So I started looking at this, and I started looking at rituximab, and I said, this is an injectable drug. This isn't something that they can take over the counter or anything. I mean, not over the counter, but orally. And I mean, this is very serious. So I started doing all this stuff. I started pulling from the website itself, explaining what it was and how it's injectable and how they have to do tests so that they can monitor like liver function and things like that, other things, kidneys and things, and just to make sure everything's okay still. And I was like, okay, this is good enough to argue. So I took this to her, and we had our our back and forth. And one of the things she got me on another record was incorrect date. And it's not a mark against me. The coding was correct. I just put the date in there wrong for the injury. So she just told me that. And I said, okay, when we were going over them, I said, okay, here, the first one, I said, this is, I mean, you were correct on this one. And she's like, you're buttering me up. I know you're buttering me up, Blue. I'm just waiting. I said, oh no. I said, it's coming. Don't worry. So we started going over this record, and we went back and forth, and she said, no. She goes, that rituximab, that would be in the moderate category where it says IV fluids with additives. And this is where I disagreed with her, because I said, this is not IV fluids with additives. Rituximab is a prescription medication, and it's injectable. This is not like IV fluids with additives. IV fluids with additives would be if they had like, if they had to get like Benadryl, you know what I mean? That kind of thing, a banana bag, that would be like IV fluids with additives. This is something that is different. This medication has to be taken directly into the bloodstream. It's not something that can be taken orally and then digested. It has to go directly into the bloodstream. So when you go a more direct route with medication, it's going to make the potency of that medication that much more. So as I was explaining this to her, we're going back and forth. She's like, no, it's equivalent to IV fluids with additives. I said, no, it's not. I said, when you have this kind of drug, and I started showing her on the explanation from one of these websites. I can't remember which one, because I went to several ones looking for, and then I finally settled on the actual website for that drug. And I was telling her how serious this is, and she says, well, I can see your point. After a while, we were going back and forth. I said, you have to agree, this is a lot stronger than just IV fluids with additives. This is not, there's no giving this IV fluids with additives. And she's like, well, so she finally came around seeing it my way. And I mean, it finally worked out. She gave me back the error. And so, I mean, I won that. She's like, she goes, that was pretty interesting. I didn't know that about that drug. And when you see categories like parenteral drugs, you really do need to kind of understand what that means. Because I didn't even understand what it meant until here recently when I started looking at it. And so once you start to figure out the method of how this patient is receiving a pharmaceutical, okay, prescription, and whether it is, there's different methods of entry for all different kinds of medications. There's nasal, there's oral, there's injectable, and there's other routes. And so doing things like that is knowing how different drugs are classed and how they are administered is very important. You don't have to memorize everything. You don't have to know this drug does this and this drug does that. You don't have to know all that. What you do have to understand is route of administration. That's what you do need to understand. And because if you're looking at an injectable drug, that's not going to be something that's more serious, okay? And knowing the difference between something like that is really key. So having your argument and being well prepared, which I was, because I was getting this level 5 back for sure, because this was in the rheumatology clinic, and I had been this. Our records are audited 2 months in arrears, which means they're still. I'm trying to sneeze. I've been trying to sneeze because it's been raining off and on. I hate it. Anyway, so we are 2 months in arrears on audits. So this was back in early winter when this record was when I was doing the rheumatology clinic. So that's why she was pulling those ones. And she was like, well, that was a really good one. I said, yes, it was. And just knowing this and learning it sort of together, because as I'm trying to explain to her, she's telling me about Schedule 6 drugs or Schedule 5 drugs. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. But it wasn't what the drugs that we were talking about on that particular record. So it worked out. And like I said, always be prepared for your arguments. And there's going to be times when your auditor is going to have a really good argument. But as long as you can show what your argument is and how you got to your argument, that's going to save you a lot of times. And because the auditors are not always correct, you have to remember that as well. But then you have to think at the same time too, that if they're showing you their argument and it is very clear how they got their answer, don't keep arguing back with them just for the sake of arguing. There's going to be times when you will have to be humbled and you will have to learn that there are things that you did get wrong. I mean, I've gotten things that were wrong as well. And I have argued and argued and argued. And then when I saw what they were saying, I was like, oops. But, I mean, it is a valid argument. I made valid points. And it wasn't that I was just arguing out of conviction. I was arguing because I had a reference. And so it was just a matter of understanding that reference was what turned everything around. I'm just saying. So, but that was it on that one. And like I said, I mean, the audit other than that came out pretty good. And I mean, I was very happy with the results. So I'm in the green. And that's all that matters. And today the system was down most of the day, like literally. I had maybe an hour and a half at the end of the day to do any work today. And so I just worked on, it's late, you guys, you could tell I'm tired. I did the slides. I finished the slide deck totally for Friday's class. The only thing I have to do is just one more part and then that's it. And it'll be done. But I'm very excited that, that's all out of the way. Everything's good. And I will be ready for my class on Friday. I am going to try to pin down 2 of the providers that are not going to be there because they really do need it. And I know that they are not going to be excited about it, but it's something that I have to face head on. When they have this time for education, it's very important that they are there. And I do get a lot of leeway when it comes to asking for class time. And the chief of the clinic, I did ask him, I said, since I have all of you now, since I have full control over orthopedics now and podiatry, I've always had full control over podiatry. But I said, since I have full control now over orthopedics, I really do need a class. And he was very instrumental with like, okay, whatever you need, we'll go ahead and get it set up. And within a week, he was like, oh, I was looking for you. We have a class all set up for you. And I'm like, yes. I didn't want to have to wait until March, which is why I went ahead and did it this month, because technically I was supposed to be off already this week, just to take some downtime. But I'm taking my downtime in March. That's what I'm taking time off in March. I mean, I will be filming with you guys, but when it comes to just working, I needed to take a time out. So I didn't take any time off in December or in November last year. The longest I had taken off was for conference, and that was it. But in March, I will be taking time off because I'm going to have a timeout. But I will be doing some shots from the road because I'm going to be just traveling around, and that's what I like to do when I have downtime by myself. I like to just hit the road and just do different road trips and things like that because I like traveling. I mean, traveling has always been something that I just enjoy, and something about just driving and being out and seeing new places and things, and then going to certain cities for really good food is really fun for me. I mean, I like it, so I don't know. But yes, so tomorrow, early day, and that's okay with me because it's going to be pretty good. So hopefully the systems stay up tomorrow. I'm just saying. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up because, like I said, it is getting late, and I want to get this uploaded because, Amelia, you're a rock star. Congratulations, girl. I'm very happy for you. All right, I'm going to go ahead and close this one out. But if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all on the next video. Bye!